Hey, what's up, guys? Samuel G. Good morning. And I want to make a point this morning, and it's not an easy one. It's not an easy point to make, because I'm not sure exactly how I want to describe it. But what I try to do is I'm gonna tell a story. I'm gonna make an analogy with an RPG session, and using it as an example, and we shall discuss it. From that on. So, imagine a party in a cabin, in a mountain. So it's like a snowboarding or skiing, party. Everybody, did the PCs are part of the party. Everybody's having fun. And it's one of the NPC's house, and it's like a teen movie thing, where everybody is there and they drink some beer and alcohol, and they party, they dance all night, and after the long day of skiing and snowboarding and all that. And there's a bunch of friends there. I'm sorry about this. There's a bunch of friends there, and then the GM is describing everybody's dancing. The GM is describing everybody chatting with one another, and everybody's, and the GM is describing the music's playing, and then everybody goes to sleep. And then in the morning afterward, the GM is describing the smell of bread, the smell of eggs and bacon, the smell of coffee in the air, and all that. And people are waking up. People are gathering around the table, and are chit-chatting, and then the GM, through one of his NPCs called Amanda, turns around and says, "Hey guys, where is Stevie?" Stevie being one of the other NPCs, a friend of the crew there. And so where is Stevie? And everybody's looking around the table, and Stevie's not there. Well, what's happening now? Like in terms of narration, in terms of game experience, gameplay. I mean, like it is. What do you think? What can these players do? When I'm saying that the hobby, the GM based RPGs, so because this is a GM thing. The GM based RPGs, they have this fundamental problem at their core. I'm sorry. They have this fundamental problem at their core, where I think I've discussed this a long time ago, but I'm still going back at it because I just don't know. I don't see how it goes. But the GM at this as soon as he's gonna point out a red herring thing, as soon as he's gonna mention something, like, here it is, here's something. As soon as the GM throws something at the players are gonna jump on it, and it's just, they're gonna do exactly what it is, and it becomes this not hide and seek narrative situation, but more like follow the Red Riding Hood kind of thing. Like, okay, so where's Stevie? No, he must still be in his bedroom. Let's go see in his bedroom. And then all the PCs and NPCs goes to Stevie's bedroom. Knock at the door. Stevie, wake up, blah blah blah. No answers. Open the door. Stevie's not there. Oh, what are we gonna do? Let's search the house. Everybody's searching the house. Stevie's not there. What are we gonna do? Let's go outside. Search around. Couple dice roll. Oh, you see some footsteps. oh, we see some blood. And it becomes that because there is no way around it. You know, that's the thing. Well, that's not true. There's probably a couple of good ways around it, but that's the point I want to make. It's that this hobby, when it's GM based like that, it has this fundamental structure that is really hard, because life, like a real life experience, is not narrated, and it's really, really important to understand. You know, life, the interaction between people and events, because look, a human experience, if you try to encapsulate it, there is a narrative part of it. It's your thoughts, and then the other possible way that it can be narrated is the intersubjectivity. But then there's some other layers, like physics, like just events, time, you know, and these layers, you know, of experience are holistic. They are everywhere, all the time, always. They don't come at you like one after the other. They don't come at you as a ready ring from someone, or especially not from another human being that is trying to create something for you, or already have an idea or something. So it's really, really it is a really fundamental thing that we need to discuss, or at least interrogate it. Like, we need to ask some questions about it, like how can we go around that? Because let's say the game I'm just talking about, let's say, is a horror, slasher, teen movie genre for Halloween that you're playing, you know, with Fate, or you're playing with Cypher System or GURPS, you know, like generic game for Halloween, one shot slasher in the cabin, you know. So where's Stevie? Well, let's find out. So what's the logical thing to do? Because we're just a bunch of human beings, rational human beings working together. We're gonna look at the room, and then we're gonna investigate the house, and then we're gonna go outside, and we're gonna find some footsteps, and we're gonna follow the footsteps, and you know, a GM that doesn't have much experience is gonna fall into that trap right away, and he's just gonna, you follow there is some footsteps. Never say that to the players, because if you say that to the players, they're gonna just follow the goddamn footsteps. Let's follow them. Oh, we think we follow the steps. Oh, okay, so you follow the steps, and then you reach some blood. Oh, and then the Mother May I starts. So that's another issue. But you know, like, does the blood look like it's going in a direction? Does the blood look like it comes from a bludgeoning object? Does the, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, so that's even worse. But let's say you dealt with that already. Well, now the thing I want to show is that how the thing I want to ask is, first, are you aware of that? Are you aware of the fact that every time as a GM you describe something and you present something, it has the shape of a sentence? And the fact that it has the shape of a sentence, it's analytical video alert. It should be right there. Analytical video alert. This is some theory video. So it has the shape of a sentence. So a sentence is a linear discursive action. It has a beginning, it has an end, and it's pointing at something. You know, it's either a fact, or you're making a judgment of value about something. And every time you have a sentence like that, the people who are listening to that sentence, they're gonna start rationalizing it, and it's gonna become how can I say that? It's gonna become like the trigger for what should I do, especially in an RPG. You know, because this is the only meaning there is. There is no other meaning. It's you know, it's the key to your mind. So the players are right there. They're listening to your sentences, and then they get to understand what you're going for. And then they want to play along because it's supposed to be a collaborative thing. So they're just gonna follow the sentences. So that the idea of where's Stevie, then the players, they go to the room, then they go to the house, and then they go to outside, and then they follow the footsteps, and then they analyze the blood, and what's gonna happen is that the only way to avoid that is to change your phrasing, or to find another way to present the linearity of the narration. But the thing is that I'm asking this question to you guys: how do you do that? How do you break that that cycle, that trap? Well, first, some you know, people, some smart asses this morning can say like, well, don't do that cheap hook kind of thing. Well, I guess so. How would that come about? Well, it can come about. It can come about with the idea that instead of pointing at something, maybe you can just initiate something that's a little abstract. But instead of saying, "Where is Stevie?" You can just let the people together talk at the table in the morning, and find another way to introduce the fact that one of the player is missing. That's gonna be hard. Let's say you let go of missing Stevie. So Stevie's at the table, everybody's there. What they do? They talk. Well, there is so long, you know, depending on the group of players you're playing with. You know, some are gonna talk together for forever, but after a while, you know, oh, the eggs were good. All right, what's next? Oh, Jessica screaming upstairs. What else? What's gonna happen? How do you present things? You know, you see when I let go of a missing person idea, you see a strange figure outside the window, and everybody looks at it, and some say they see it, some say they don't. And then there's a discussion. Oh, how come you don't see it? It's right there. No, I don't see it. What do you see? And then they talk together and they describe it. Now there's a mystery. Now it's a mysterious entity that some people see, some people don't see. Create a little bit of panic. Some NPCs are laughing at you and all that. And so what? What's next? What's next? And so, if I come back to the what do you do question, you know, some GMs are big on that, like what do you do? Well, I already discussed why what do you do doesn't work, but like, how do you utilize it? Let's say you are what do you do type of guy. How do you utilize it in that situation? You know, because I think, to me, that's the thing, right? There is a part. It doesn't, the level of discussion here doesn't concern the railroad and the sandbox and all that. To me, this type of conversation concerns the narrative structure, just the way language is used to portray things by a GM, and that is I mean, it's fundamental. You won't get out of that linearity. You won't. You just won't. Because especially depending, like, obviously, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm not saying you cannot make an illusion around it that nobody's gonna see. You can sit here and think enough to find some good ideas. Missing Stevie idea is not the best one. It's just to make the point. But if you play with a bunch of really rational guys, like, or a girl, like really rational people, they're gonna dissect every word you're saying, and it won't be possible to hide anything, or it won't be possible to make some plot or make some twist or just hide an NPC's agenda. As soon as you're gonna start describing emotions and stuff, they're just gonna dissect every word you're saying. They're just gonna boom, they're gonna go right at it. So there's a little bit of not I don't know if you can say make believe, or there's a little bit of players needs to shut their mind down a little bit just to be the characters. When there is some topic about that in some YouTube videos on RPG about the idea that what the players would do versus what the character would do. And to me, I mean, I don't know how I want to position myself on that. I don't it's not the kind of stuff I care much, but it seems to me that it comes down to this point where this is gonna be a way too long video. I should make a two-parter of that, but let's summarize a little bit and ask the question, and maybe I'll come back to you guys later today with a part 2. What Stevie would do? No, where is Stevie? I'm sorry, where is Stevie? In other words, how can you portray, how can you implement, how can you propose stuff when you're a GM without just having a bunch of dudes hanging on what you're saying and just following along the sentences track of event? For me, I think it's the only way around it is that instead of coming from the GM, it should come from the players. If it starts to come from the players and then the GM interjects some stuff in it, instead of coming from one person, it comes from everywhere. And by coming from everywhere, it starts to look a little bit more like real life. At the beginning of this video, I discussed about the fact that a human experience is like, it's holistic. You have events, you have narration coming from your thoughts, you have narration coming from intersubjectivity, you have matter, physical interactions with stuff, you have time as well in there, you have all kinds of things, like affections and stuff like that comes. It comes from all direction at the same time. In an RPG, it comes from one place. A GM-based RPG, it comes from the mind of a GM. It comes from the sentences the GM uses to describe to you the world, and that is not necessarily a problem, but I mean it's really a core element of how the PCs have an experience of something. So what I'm saying is that if you want to dilute that a little bit and make it a little bit more holistic, like coming from all the direction at the same time, instead of the red herrings coming always from the mouth of the GM, which all the player just always dissect and listen to, and okay, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we have to do, because the GM prep this and that. The way you can go around it is make sure that everybody understands that you prep nothing, and also that everybody in the group inject stuff. So instead of coming from one person, it comes from everywhere at the same time. So the focus is not just on one sentence, but it's on all sentences at the same time. So now it becomes more like it can go everywhere, How do you guys do that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Have you ever, are you aware of that? How do you deal about that? Let me know. This is maybe part 1. We'll see. All right, talk to you soon.